morning. If you're wondering about the title, you won't believe what happened. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. I got you to click on my video. Now the real question is, are you going to make it all the way to the end?
Okay, so no trees today. We are working on the Krone baler. Cody is doing the knotter, the remains of the knotter, and then this additional piece that belongs in here, in which I will show you what he has put in. And if you have a Krone baler or an older Krone baler, you won't have these, but you see here, he put this guy in, some kind of a, whatever the hell they call it. I don't even know what they call it, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't matter. I guess I could read. I have the book. So, he put those on, and then there was another little metal piece that you had to add to the cam that operates the tucker arms, I guess. It would have to be the, yeah, the tucker arms. And he welded that on. That is right here. Let's see what it looks like from the other side. I haven't looked at it. Yeah, pretty good job. Can't complain. But it's right here, right at the tip of my finger. So he welded that on there, and that extends the, I actually think that it makes the tucker arm go down farther or whatever. I'm not even sure because we haven't run it yet. But what it does is it aids, well, I'm going to read it. It says, mounting an additional deflection onto the run of the upper twine and modifying the contour of the upper needle steering to improve the removal behavior of the starting knot, which is the second knot that it makes, and those are the ones that hang up on the bill hooks. So this is to alleviate this whole problem. So they add these rollers right there, which to me, I don't know. We're going to find out how it works and how it, you know, once it gets everything back together again, we're going to probably go ahead and run it and see what happens. But yeah, pretty simple setup. Just, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to do it, but the engineers at Krone have decided that that is the way it needs to be done, and so we've done it. Now, all the new balers are equipped with that set of rollers, and I'm sure that instead of welding on that piece to the new balers, they just extend the cam lobe on that, and yeah, aids in the removal of that second knot, or the starter knot, or the starter knot for the knotter. So there it is. Anyway, I'm going to get the boys. I'm going to climb into the belly of this beast, and I'm going to get the boys to hand me those time strips, and I will show that to you. I have decided, and I got to put this paper away. I've decided to replace two of those time strips.
Yes.
I see. Yeah. Can you see what I'm doing? That's the important thing. So, anything about these Krone balers, these VFSs are probably the biggest pain in your ass. I don't think I'm going to have enough room. I need that thin, oh wait, yeah, thin wall one. Okay. To be very careful as to what you do here, because you'll break that casting. Come on. Where's that thin? That's not thin, it's the same thing. Thin.
Look like it's thin.
Hey, hold on. Okay. You got to be careful with what you do here too, because you'll strip off the nuts. Okay. So what you do with this guy, is this any good? Yeah. You cannot tighten these things completely down onto the cast iron piece. It has to float. And if it doesn't float, then you got bigger problems than you ever want to have, okay? So you just want it to be locked on there. It's a nylock bolt. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yep.
Okay, so that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten the rest of these up. Oh, what the hell? What is that, 18? It is 18. Makes sense. You gotta be careful. This Milwaukee gun is so strong it just twists everything right the hell off. Once you twist stuff up, it's no fun. Okay. It does get a bit tight in here, and tempers do flare from time to time. Tim shut it off because I don't want to have people tell me that I get upset on camera and I'm a monster and I beat the wildlife, you know, like Sasquatches. We don't beat them. Can't beat the Sasquatch, can we?
No.
Why not? Yeah, sharpen chainsaws. Your car run okay, Joe?
No.
What?
Car?
Yeah, it runs good.
Good. You know, me and Teresa knew we sold you a lemon.
What?
Sold you a lemon.
Me and Teresa knew we sold you a lemon.
Hey man, better than the piece of shit I had before it.
You know what Teresa's worry was?
What?
That if it broke down, that your mom would be like upset with her.
No.
I says, I don't think his mother gives a damn. She did. She'd call me and yell at me and I'd have to yell back. Fuck, you think you're a ninja or something? Anyway. Alright, so we got this one put together. It's got the new, what do you call that damn thing? The new bearing. We're calling this a bearing, but what this housing does is there's 3 O-rings in it. You missed. There's 3 O-rings in there, and what it does is grease goes into each one, and then that grease goes down through ports that go to these bearings here, and life is good, so they say. So I had to put a new one on here because in my stupidity, when I was new to working on chrome balers, I actually tightened that down as tight as it could be to try and hold this tooth or one of these teeth tight with it, and that didn't work out for me. It actually snapped those off, and they're like 250 bucks a piece, so don't be doing that. It's not a good idea.
Don't be doing what?
So we're gonna put this thing back together, and then we got one more to go in, which is gonna be that one right there, but I have to take that one out. I got new parts for it, and that will go in. I just need to pull the tooth off the other end, which, Mr. Tim, you're gonna start setting that up,
Okay.
please, after we get this in. Well, Cody and you can put it in. Are you filming my ass? Okay, so I guess I better finish up this video before I go home. I actually was on my way home and realized, hey, I left my camera. You dumbass, you better go back and get it. So this is the final tine strip. We were just going over the cost of this thing. Now, they do wear. This is the old tooth, and it's hot. And I just forgot that it was hot, and that's why we decided to leave it on the bench today, or tonight, instead of putting it actually into the baler. So this is brand new. I decided to go with a brand new one because this is the tine bar that goes stiff, you know, when it gets excited. I mean, it goes stiff to stuff the flake of hay up into the bale chamber. So there's an extraordinarily large amount of stress that goes on this particular bar. Not only is it packing material, it's also stuffing it into the bale chamber. So this has its own set of tracks, okay, and it's on the opposite side of the machine than the other 4 tine strips or tine bars. I call them tine bars, but they're calling them packer strips or tine strips from Krone. And excuse me. Anyway, this one runs on its own track, and when it when it gets full, the pre-charge chamber in that baler gets full, it will derail this set of tine bars. This tine bar, it'll derail it, and then instead of it just packing, it will actually go rigid and go right on around. Thus, the different shape that it has. Now, I've replaced 2 of the tine bars because the other ones were within a decent tolerance. This one here was not. These were really worn, and I was assured by Krone that they have changed the type of spline that they use on the new tine bar, and they've changed it so that it will be more durable and last a lot longer. Ooh, that thing is still hot. So you can see that this is a straight tine bar, and this one has the curve to it. Straight curved. Alright, so this one they only pack. This is the one that goes up, and as it goes around it starts to retract, so they have it curved, so it just kind of gently puts the flake of hay up into the bale chamber where the plunger comes and smashes it on. So one of these tine bars, these are not cheap. Now these have 43,000 bales through them. I've never changed a tine bar on this baler. So after 43,000 bales, replace 2 tine bars, not too terribly bad. The other 3, I probably could have replaced them, but I feel that I used JB Weld on them. They were loose, just a tiny bit loose, but JB Weld is some tough-ass stuff. And if you've never used JB Weld, or PC7 is another product that we use, if you've never used those things, you won't know and you'll just criticize. But JB Weld on those splines, and we've got them glued fast. It's like Loctite with steroids. It will take the abuse. So, it's got a long time to cure before we actually go and bale anything with it. But anyways, the tine bar itself was like 650 bucks. This tooth here was another $400. This guy right here, you're looking at 200 and some dollars. Just a little over 400. This is 230, I think. And of course, the bearings themselves. This bearing is 190. This bearing is 230. So, and plus the nuts. I put new nuts on them, on all of them, because you just don't want to risk your nuts falling off. So all told, we got 600 and some, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 1,000. You got 1,014, 1,400, or 1,200, 1,400, 1,500, 1,650. So this tine bar alone, without the 2 new bearings in here, we're looking at another $100 a piece for those. $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 in this bar. This was just fine, so we reused that. I re-Loctited the bolt onto that one, so that is definitely perfectly fine. It's Loctited on. This will not loosen up, neither will the bolt. These bearings are brand new, yippee skippy. They're good for another 20,000 bales. And that's about what I put through them. So hopefully these tine bars, you want to change these once a year. If you get up into that 15,000 bale range, like I've said this before, these 2 pieces right here, these 2 bearings, 2, 3, 420 bucks. 420 bucks for each tine bar just to change those bearings. Yes, it's expensive, but if you don't do that, you can ask Glenn LeDuc. He'll tell you. When that thing derails, it's $13,000 to repair it. And the reason I know Glenn LeDuc has had that issue, it's because he told me. He asked me actually, have you ever had that problem? I said, no, I've never had that problem. But I'm pretty anal when it comes to that stuff, so I know about the bearing issue, and I know about the derailing, and I know a lot about them. So I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to have those problems. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't the greatest damn thing because we're just working in here, sweating and doing it. There's nothing action, yeah, so there you go. Thanks for watching. And enjoy the comment section read. I really am actually having a good time doing this.
Yes, we get to start this one off with a troll. Okay, so Massey Man, which I don't think he's a troll, he's just whining about the viewers again. You need to rewatch the video. There was no whining. Jason Davies. I'll be honest to say, I watched about 30 seconds of the chainsaw and I found myself skipping through until you started talking again. Well, that was the point. The point was that my channel is me explaining and, talking about the projects and the things that are going on. So, Jason Davies, I actually thought that the chainsaw dance was kind of cool to listen to, especially with the airplane. And if you haven't figured it out, there's an airport like within a quarter mile of there. Derek Greenhalgh. Although, this is a very long one, although I agree with reclaiming the soil back into the fields, not with taking down hedgerows. Thousands of insects, small animals, and a lot of them beneficial to pollination and pest control have nowhere to breed. It's not only bees that pollinate. On that subject of bees, taking out hedgerows and planting unicrops over miles and miles does not give them a variety of nutrition they need. I am glad you'll let the hedgerows grow back and keep them as a sanctuary. Well, I'm not going to let those hedgerows grow back, but I'm not going to remove them. I'm just taking out the trees. The grasses will continue to grow there because that's what's supposed to be there, not trees. There never were supposed to be trees there. That's what's got me kind of upset, because the former farmer that was there could have very easily just taken a brush hog up and back. It's not like he doesn't own one. Up and back on both of those, or all 5 of those hedgerows, or as you call hedgerows, grass strips for erosion breaks, and kept that nice and clean. But now I have to clean up his mess, and it's going to take me literally years to get it straightened out. My helper, Gate City, what would you say the proper depth to get the most accurate soil sample? Well, personally, I think that you should go down at least a foot. When we plow between 8 to 10 inches deep with a chisel plow, and a moldboard plow will go about the same, 8 inches. We don't like to go any deeper than that. And of course, we're not moldboard plowing this farm. I have 2 moldboard plows, and they're just too slow. I ain't got time for it. But yes, I would say take a soil test 8 to 10 inches deep. From that 8 to 10 inches, get a lot of samples like we did, and mix them up really nice, and it should give you a pretty accurate overview. I would what I'm going to do is put the lime on top, chisel it in, and then I'm going to spread fertilizer onto the chisel plow ground, or let's put it this way. I'm going to disc it down, get it nice and smooth. Then I'm going to put the fertilizer that is needed, the nutrients, the NPK, P and K, and sulfur that I'm going to need to put on there, which I know I'm going to need to put in there. That's all going on, and then I'm going to run the disc over it one more time. And of course, then I will use the nitrogen level that I need. I'm looking at between 150 and 200 units of nitrogen to get this corn to go. And when the corn gets up around shoulder high, then I'm going to come in with I'm going to have the fertilizer plant come in and top dress some more nitrogen on top of it if I feel it needs it. I'm pushing this corn to the end of the earth. It all depends on the weather, though. So, Meredith, hooray! You actually know more about soil health, pH levels, nutrient availability than I thought. Well, a lot of people think that I've just been a farmer for the last few years. I've had a lifetime of agricultural experience, like 47 years of it, and of course I know more about soil health, pH, and nutrient availability, including tissue sample testing, which I may very well be doing during the growth of my corn crop. Just so you know, I grew a variety of crops. I was a dairy farmer, manure management, and all that other stuff that we had to do. I'm even somewhat of a veterinarian. Towards the end of my dairy career, I was performing with the aid of the veterinarian because I don't like cutting into animals, but DAs and things like that. So, yeah, I'm a lot smarter than a lot of people give me credit for. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube doesn't matter. Nothing matters as long as your children are happy and healthy. And if you like this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm going to keep doing them this way because it's just more fun. William can show up. My wife could flush the toilet a couple more times. And we'll just all enjoy a lot of different things. Is it boring you? Anyways, have a